In this video, I'm going to show you how you can easily change out the guts inside your barbecue when they rust out. That way you don't have to buy a new barbecue. This barbecue has been sitting outside for almost 9 years uncovered through Canadian winters. As you can see, the inside's in bad shape, the heat plates are completely rusted through, the grease tray is completely falling apart, and all the carryover tubes and burners are rusted out. But that's okay, because I'm going to show you how you can completely restore your barbecue for a little over $100 and hopefully get many more years to come. Alright, so let's talk tools for a quick second. All you really need to complete this job is a screwdriver and some needle nose pliers. If you have a drill, that can help speed up the process, but more importantly, what you need is a good pair of disposable gloves. Now, I purchased these orange nitrile gloves off of Amazon. They're 8mm, they're extremely heavy duty. A box of 100 costs about $20, and I highly recommend them. If you're interested in purchasing them, make sure you check out my video description for my Amazon affiliates link, so that way I can get a little bit of kickback from Amazon. So for parts, I got a new grease tray and replacement kit with all the burners. Again, I got these on Amazon. There'll be links in the video description. You can check them out. I think the total cost, again, was around maybe $120 for me, give or take. I'm going to start by removing all the grills off the barbecue, and then you can remove the heat plates. As you can see, my heat plates have no life left in them. They're rusted completely through. When you go to take them off, the one side on my style of barbecue has 2 pins, and then they just kind of rest in. They're super easy. You're just kind of inserting them. Every barbecue is going to have a different style, just depends on what your barbecue is. Next, we can go ahead and get this top rack out of the way. There's 2 little pin holes that it sits in on the left and the right, and you just slide it right out. Next, I'm going to pull this igniter off of the searing burner. It's only being held on by 2 screws, so we can just take that off easily. The opposite side has a cotter pin underneath that we're going to have to remove, but in order to access the cotter pin, it'll be easier if we remove the grease tray first. Now that everything's out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and pull this old grease tray out of here. You can slide it out from the back of your barbecue, but you might have these little pins that hold it in place that prevent it from sliding. So if that's the case, you just lift it up a little bit so that you can get above the pins, and you should be able to wiggle it out without any problems. With the tray out of the way, we can easily access the cotter pin underneath the searing burner. Grab your pliers and hook it on the loop and just give it a little pull. The burner should now just slide out easily. This one is pretty caked up, but I'm going to try to give it a clean so that I can use it again. I want to avoid getting any loose flakes and debris on my deck, so I'm going to proactively give it a quick vacuum with a shop vac to keep the dirt down to a minimum. So the rest of these burners are very straightforward to take out. There's 1 screw on the end holding them down. We also don't want to forget that there's another igniter sitting on this burner that I'll need to unscrew as well. So let's go ahead and get that done. The screws feel like they're rusted in pretty good, so I'm trying to apply a decent amount of pressure so that the screwdriver is seated well. That way it doesn't strip when I'm forcing it out. Now that those are loosened up, I'm going to remove this igniter so that I can slide the remainder of the burners off the barbecue. I'd be cautious not to throw out any of the old screws until you're done. Now these igniters, we're going to go ahead and pull them out. If you reach around the front, you should find the little box where they're plugged into, and you literally just pop them right off. They're super simple, and then you should be able to grab them and just pull them out of the barbecue completely. All the parts that I plan on reusing, I'm going to soak them in some soapy water overnight. I have this old toboggan that I use to pull behind my ATV, and it's nice and big enough to hold my stuff. So if you want to give your barbecue a good clean, now's the perfect time with everything out of it. I didn't go as thorough as I could have just because it was very time consuming. I did use every manner of scraper that I could find laying around to help me get the grease off. So I've gone ahead and opened up the packaging of all the stuff I have so that I can see it. I'm going to start with putting the new burners in. So all you have to do is line up the screw hole on one side and then slide the other insert over where the propane comes out. Once that's done, you're basically just going to repeat the process for all the burners. For the searing burner, we don't want to forget to put the pin back in the hole so that we can reinstall the cotter pin. If you've made it this far into the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps me out a lot. The carryover tubes that I purchased are adjustable, so they just slide into each other. I'm going to line up the holes on my carryover tubes with the hole on top of my burners, overlapping on the ends. I'm also going to use my drill to speed up the process, but I have turned my clutch all the way down, I guess you would say, so that I can't over tighten. So now I'm going to go ahead and reinstall these igniters. The plugs, we're just going to feed them through the path that we pulled them out of and plug them back into the box. The igniters themselves, we're going to reuse some of the old screws that I had to screw them on. I don't want to forget to put this cotter pin back under the searing burner, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Now that that's done, I'm going to need to assemble the new grease tray that I ordered. I'm going to start by removing all this blue protective film off of it and assembling it. Looks pretty simple, it's just a couple screws. It's also adjustable, so we just have to slide it up to the size that we need and then secure it. I'm going to start by screwing on the rails that hold the catch pan underneath. So the rails are being held on by just a screw with a nut on the bottom. The only thing that's important to note is that the screws are flat heads, and then the ones for the side are pan heads, and I accidentally installed the pan heads to begin with and then realized that because of the overlap, the pan heads catch, and so I had to disassemble it and put the flat heads on. After the rails were on, it was just a matter of putting the sides on here. Again, this was just a pan head with a washer and a nut. Nothing too crazy going on, 2 per side, and then the whole tray kind of slides for the adjustable effect. I went to reinstall my grease tray, but I have these little pins that block me from putting my new one in because it's larger than my previous one. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find the same size. So my game plan here is I'm going to unscrew these pins to make space so that it will slide in smooth. I don't think there's any way that it can come out regardless because there's still this lip on the edge. I had to stretch it out a little bit and adjust the screws so that it fit nice. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put my little cup in. I really like how everything looks so far. The last thing I need to do is put the heat plates and the grills back on, and then I should be all done. I'm gonna go ahead and install a fresh battery for the igniters because I don't think I've done that in a few years. Now that I'm all done, I'm gonna grab some cooking oil from the house and cover all the grills and let it run on high for a little while. The end result was a beautiful, new-like barbecue that hopefully will last me another 9 years. If you like this video, don't forget to drop it a like and subscribe to my channel. I got lots more videos coming your way that I guarantee is going to make you a handy homeowner.